I recently found out that I'm Chinese.
It's my first day being Chinese.
My attention that we're all suddenly Chinese.
So, like many of you, I've recently been informed that I am Chinese.
Okay, what is up guys? Today I'm filming a commentary video. Today I'm going to be talking about the Chinese trend, since it's been all over the net for the last few days. It treads the lines of cultural appropriation and also possibly cultural appreciation. I don't even know. But if you're new, subscribe, like this video, comment, share. That helps me out a lot. Check out my other videos if you haven't already. I got my podcast Pray for Mine on Spotify and also YouTube, and it's also on Apple Podcasts. A lot to talk about when it comes to this because I thought it was very odd. I woke up and decided to be Chinese. The last time I checked, that's not how it works, but do you, I guess? So basically, a bunch of people decided to become Chinese and post about their journey of becoming Chinese, even though they're not even Asian. The majority of them are not even Asian or have Asian descent. If y'all have been keeping up with the latest wellness trends, but there's been so many wellness trends over the years, and it's kind of hard to keep up with, honestly. But they realize that Chinese culture has a lot of healthy benefits when it comes to a lot of things. Their gut, their colons, everything is down to a T, honestly. So a lot of people have been trying to incorporate Chinese medicine into their own lives to better themselves, and it sounds innocent, right? It sounds very innocent at first until I get more in depth with it, and then it's gonna not sound super innocent. If y'all seen those videos of Asian content creators coming on social media and showing their moms or their grandmas like routine to stay healthy and youthful, that's kind of what it reminds me of. Like, they're taking it from that, because a lot of people are trying to find ways to stay healthy and also trying to look 12 when they're like 50, you know what I mean? Which is very impossible, but I feel like between Asian people and like black people, like, you know, they look young forever. So I'm not gonna lie, like, it's kind of crazy because they'll be really like 100 years old and then they don't look 100. So it's like, I get why people are coming on here and trying to understand like what is it that they're doing to make them look super youthful. The habits that people are incorporating into their routines is drinking warm drinks like herbal teas, and they'll add like some ginger or some lemons, or even like some stewed apples, because warm cooked apples is really good on the gut.
It's my first time being Chinese. I'm kind of nervous. We're going to make some hot water with apples. I think I'm going to add a cinnamon stick in there just for some razzle dazzle. I don't have the goji berries or the dates yet. They are on order, okay? The closest Asian supermarket I have to me is like 25 minutes away, and girl, it's like 10 degrees outside. So we're not leaving the house unless it's like a must, okay?
Also, I swear my pot is clean. That is just stained, and no matter what I use on it, it will not come off. So don't come for me because my pot is clean, okay? I am going to save a couple of these apples for my doggy because he loves apples. So that will be his after dinner treat. Okay, so we're gonna add our water in. Okay, so now we officially have the cinnamon stick in there as well. So time to simmer.
Here she is. So stunning, so gorgeous. It's a little bit too hot to drink right now, but it smells incredible.
And if you know, I don't know, a lot of people don't know this, but warm drinks is a lot better on your digestion than ice cold drinks. A lot of people drink ice cold drinks, especially in the morning or even in the summer. Room temperature and warm drinks are best when it comes to your digestive tract, because it can go smoothly and it doesn't shock your system. So a lot of people are like clocking that it's helpful, even though I've been doing it forever, okay? People thought I was the weirdest thing, that I prefer room temperature things and that I liked warm things instead of cold things, because honestly, like, I don't really know where it started from, to be honest with you, but I just know that I've been doing it forever. Cool, great, but y'all are late to the program. I mean, I don't know. Another thing that people are also doing is keeping shoes at the door and having house slippers. House slippers and keeping shoes at the door. Okay, some backstory. You know, I grew up with a lot of Filipinos, mostly Latin and Filipino people, and every time I went to my Filipino friends growing up, their houses were always down to a T. It was very clean all the time. Even though I wasn't really familiar with their culture, I was still very open to it. But I do always remember their shoes was always at the door. My mom also incorporated that. If you're living in a like freaking Caribbean or Asian household, or even a freaking African household, a lot of cultures already do this, okay? It's not new. I've been doing it since I was a kid, okay? It's really gross to tread things that you gathered throughout the day on your shoes, and it's getting all over your house. It's just really gross. It's a lot of germs, and you don't know what you're tracking in the house. So it's like, okay, again, cool, you guys are late to the program. Everyone should have already been doing this. Caribbean grandmother, and she doesn't, I don't really know much about her, but I do remember her wearing like house chanclas a lot. And I didn't really go to Florida a lot, but there's just little things I remember, like she wore like chanclas inside the house because they had like tile floors. And I only went to Florida a couple times, but just weird things I remember from when I was a child. Again, Caribbean, okay? So like, this is not anything out of the norm. I personally like it that way because it's cleaner, even though like stuff still gets in my house because the sand from the desert, because I live in the desert, gets inside the seams of the house. It's still gross, but there's no other germs. I don't know. The other thing that people are incorporating into their routines are adding gua shas to their skincare routine. Okay, the gua sha thing, I haven't been doing a lot. I will say, if you suffer from TMJ like me, it does help a lot. Okay, because honestly, I know it's supposed to help with lymphatic drainages, all that stuff, but I started doing it because it would help with my TMJ a lot. It would release the tension, and I would just do that for like a couple of minutes. And it's also very, very soothing. You can also do it with your fingers like this. I don't have oils on my hands. I don't have like a serum, so it's very rough. So you just go in like that, you know, like this. You don't need a gua sha to do this. But that's like the newest wellness thing that people are doing. Those are like the top things I've noticed. And also people are starting to do like more Asian breakfasts. So that's also something that I noticed. Never done that before. But personally, I grew up eating a lot of Asian dishes. I will not take away from actual Chinese people that do feel like this is a slap in the face to them, okay? I'm not gonna sit up here and be like, boo-hoo, it's about me, because that's kind of what's going on in social media, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna be super tone deaf like a bunch of people, because it's very like irritating how tone deaf people are when it comes to people's like traumas and stuff like that. Chinese breakfasts, I mean, that's great and all. It looks delicious, I will give you that. I'm not gonna hate on you for that because it does look very well cooked and all that stuff. Asian people felt like there was also like a huge divide when it came to like TikTok, because there was like a side of TikTok where the majority of people were like, this is culture appropriation. Like, why are you all of a sudden caring about, you know, Asian culture, and now it's an aesthetic, all these things.
I know that being Chinese is really trendy right now, but I think the most Chinese Asian thing that you could do is sit there while your parents yell at you for getting a B instead of an A in school. Or it's forcing you into an extracurricular that you don't want to do, but it takes up your entire life, including weekends, just because they think that it's going to get you into college. But then being Asian doesn't even stop in college, because after that, they'll just question why you're not making as much money as their doctor, dentist, lawyer, friend's son. Even if somehow you are a doctor, astronaut person, it's not enough, because why are you not married? Where are the grandkids? And you know what the most horrifying part is? Most Asian parents' dream home is a house right next to yours, if not inside your home with your children and future spouse. So yeah, that's real Chinese. That's what being Asian's all about.
And then there's also another side of internet where people are super welcoming and they're like, yeah, come on newcomers, like I'm totally okay with showing my culture and all the cool things about my culture, you know what I mean?
My friend asked me what are my thoughts on the whole becoming Chinese trend, and all I have to say is, what took y'all this long to catch on? It's just so funny to me that most Americans went so long thinking that having a toasted bagel with cream cheese for breakfast was sufficient enough to fuel yourself. As someone who grew up in a very prevalent traditional Chinese medicine household, my grandma, mom's sister were all acupuncturists. I've been preaching so many of these things to my friends, previous roommates for so long, who thought I was crazy and just shrugged their shoulders and said whatever. But all I have to say is I'm so glad now you guys are catching on and seeing you guys drink hot water instead of ice water, having very nutrient-dense breakfasts, soups, congees instead of a bagel and cream cheese or cold yogurt. And ladies and gentlemen, it's so important to be keeping your feet warm. I feel like my grandma and mom will be so proud of this trend going.
When it comes to the people that are like super duper welcoming about it, like I don't know if they're like whitewashed or something, because that can also be a thing, okay? We also have to, you know, realize that there's also whitewashed Asians, and that's with every culture, to be honest with you. It's not anything too out of the norm. But when it comes to the people that are like, yeah, this is not right, this is not cool, I totally understand, because if you really think about it, 6 years ago, a bunch of Asian people were targeted over the panorama because people felt like they were the reason why this global pandemic happened in the first place, because it originated in China. So then a lot of people were like calling it the Chinese virus, the China virus, all these things. And it came from like a bat, and someone ate a bat, that was from China, came to America or whatever. And then it just spread from there like wildfire. So I do remember vividly when the panorama was happening all over the news. There was a lot of older Asian people that were getting targeted. They were getting unalived for being Asian. So there was a lot of like Asian hate around that era, and it wasn't really like talked about on the internet. A lot of people were kind of like brushing it to the side, and that's the thing about like Asian people in general, like their traumas and their just whatever they go through that's very traumatic, it gets swept under the rug, you know. And I don't really know why, but even I learned it in my government class that they're not like a big population, so like a lot of the issues when it comes to like even politically, it gets swept under the rug. So it's just kind of like whatever to people. It was going on for a while. I remember it was going on all over like the states, and it was really upsetting to see, because it's just kind of like you're seeing a lot of things in real time, and it was very overwhelming, because it's like you're targeting old people that are just in their business, like they're just minding their business, and you harmed them because they're Asian. Also, people were also called like slurs around that era too, because people, like I said, a lot of people felt like they were the reason for the panorama, and so they felt like they deserved it, which I don't think that's right. I do remember like very vividly, like a couple of years ago, where what's it called, where there was like this 5-year-old kid that was walking home. He was Asian, which 5 years old, why are we walking home? I don't know. You know, in Japan they're very independent, so maybe I shouldn't say anything, but in America it's different, okay? In America it's different. Coming home, and then he got cornered by these older kids, and they were calling him slurs, and they were like being really ruthless to this kid, and saying that he eats dogs, because that was also another thing that people were saying. I remember that when I was younger, hearing that, like I first heard about it when I was in high school, and I saw like a bunch of like protests and a bunch of like posts about it, like how dogs were eaten in like Asian countries. They were like stray dogs and people would eat them, and I was upset, because I'm not gonna lie, I was really upset, you know. because I just remember that picture of a bunch of dogs in this small crate, and they'll be like German shepherds and just big medium-sized dogs in this crate. This was from like 2016, like, you know what I mean? So I really feel like that's where it originated from, just the internet, you know. And if that's what they do, I can't really say anything, because a lot of people do a lot of interesting things that I don't fully agree with. But if it's a part of your culture, then okay. I know a lot of cultures don't like to like let things go to waste, and so like even with Americans, like they try to use every part of the meat for like everything, like, you know what I mean, like shoulders, butt, you know, all that stuff. They sell it, you know. People even eat like animal peni for some reason. I would never do that, but there are people that eat it. So I understand, but I just can't see myself doing it. You know what I mean? Just kind of feel sometimes with this situation that it can be a little bit disingenuous, because the way that people are using, like, I don't know if it's from Mulan, like a Mulan soundtrack or something, they'll be like, oh, first time being Chinese, low-key nervous. Why did you choose Mulan out of everything? Like, why did you choose that soundtrack? Like you could have chose something else, but that's what it makes it feel a little bit uncomfortable. Like, I don't know, it's a little bit weird. But if you bring it up, then you're considered the woke friend on TikTok, because nobody can take criticism on TikTok and nobody can do any wrong. But I do feel like it's a little bit rude to come on here and be like, day one of being Chinese, and I mean, girl, and they'll be like the most like basic white girls doing it, which, you know, there's nothing wrong with being white, okay? I have half white cousins, so it's like I'm not trying to hate on y'all, but I just feel like it's just very weird. Okay, it's very, very weird. Okay, it's just a little bit uncomfortable, because it just seems like you're trying, because there was even like a creator, I think his name was Logan. He was the one that did the mandala, the cucumber salad thing that everyone was doing like a couple years back. I think he made like a company that was inspired by an Asian dish, like the chili oil or something like that. And a bunch of people got on him on that because he's not Asian. So they're like, okay, you're taking from our culture, this, that, and the third, which is a little bit weird. Okay, that is weird, because, you know, why can't you just make up something of your own and not take from someone else's culture? I don't feel like that's hard to do. Recently, Chinese Lunar passed. There was a bunch of people that weren't Asian that came on TikTok, and they were like, don't wear red, don't wash your hair for Chinese Lunar, okay? Don't do this, don't do that.
Whatever you do today, do not wash your hair. I repeat, do not wash your hair. If you're watching this on the 17th of February, it is the Chinese New Year, and if you wash your hair today, it symbolizes washing away your fortune, your abundance and wealth of the new year. So just don't do it. I'm not risking anything, and actually today was hair wash day, and I'm struggling. I really want to do it, but I'm not going to do it. I am not risking anything. I don't really follow the Chinese New Year, but there's something in the air today that I feel like I'm capable to make big decisions. A lot of things in my life are changing. Last year was the year of the snake, so you're meant to shed, get rid of all the things that you're not meant to have in your life, which I do really feel like has happened recently. Really feel like that's happened recently. And today everything feels like it's falling into place. I just viewed a new house, like so many things are changing, and I really feel the vibes in the air. And I'm not a superstitious person, but I am not risking a thing. So all you gotta do is wait till tomorrow. I did see a TikTok that said you're meant to wash it yesterday, but I already fucked up, so I'm just not gonna do it today. So yeah, here is to the best 2026. I feel like this year now is gonna be the best year.
The caption's taking me out. ChatGPT says to wear red for prosperity and protection. Have you tried asking a Chinese person?
Who is she talking to right now?
Because I know she's not talking about the general public. And there was not just one video, there were several videos. I was just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and there was a bunch of videos of people just saying don't wear red. And there was even a girl that was like asking ChatGPT how to celebrate Chinese Lunar when she is not Chinese herself. you can appreciate the culture, but I just feel like a lot of this stuff is getting watered down, you know? The thing is, like, this is not anything new, okay? This has been going on for a while, but I'm really glad that people are coming on here and being like, yeah, this is not right, because it isn't, because you guys are kind of watering down the Chinese Lunar culture celebration thing, okay? It's a once a day celebration, and apparently people wanted it to just be called Lunar New Year to be more inclusive, which I feel like is very watered down. I don't know who decides that, but I don't feel like it's a bunch of youngsters, you know? I don't feel like they're allowed to decide that they can lump Vietnamese and Chinese people into one culture and be like, yeah, this is just lunar, I can't say it right, lunar New Year. If you don't know what Chinese New Year is, it's a celebration of the new year, and also known as a spring festival, and it's basically marks the beginning of the new year on the traditional lunisolar Chinese calendar. It is one of the most important holidays in the Chinese culture and was placed on the UNESCO Intangible Cultural Heritage of Humanity list in 2024. Now, is that something that you want to intervene with? Okay, there's so many things that comes into this. This year, it's the year of the horse. I learned back in elementary school what animal I was, and I was the year of the dragon. I don't know what made, like, why we were learning about it, but I just remember being like maybe in 3rd or 4th grade, and our teachers like looking it up or whatever, being like, oh, you guys are the year of the dragon. And I thought that was like really, really cool. Being the year of the horse, it means high energy, independence, and rapid change. It's supposed to like bring fortune, and it's supposed to like set in personality, like let you know like what your personality is going to be like as you like grow up and stuff. If you're not familiar with the Chinese mythology, they come in like animals, and they're like zodiac signs but in animal form, and they are determined by the heavenly jade emperors, or the Buddha's great race, who is a legend that decided the order of the 12 animals each year to mark the time of the Chinese people, which I think is very cool personally. Like the festivals look really, really cool. I'm always very intrigued by how other cultures like celebrate things, you know? Beginning, it sounded very like innocent, and I understand like people want to care about their health, because especially with what's going on with, you know, the FDA, and that they're not getting paid and all these things, like it's very important to know what you're putting into your bodies, right? It's very important. But when it comes to like watering down the culture because you feel like it is wrong, I don't feel like anyone should be the like, it's already embedded in history, so there's no reason for people like as in Gen Z to come in and be like, yeah, this is how you're gonna celebrate Chinese Lunar, and that's that. You don't have the right to do that, okay? The last time I checked, you're just someone that just relies on ChatGPT for like advice and freaking historical facts. We like to look it up. We like to do actual research here. I was a little bit disappointed to see one of my favorite creators being like, oh, being Chinese for a day. Like, what? Huh? Angelina, what are you doing?
It has come to my attention that we're all suddenly Chinese, so make congee with me for the first time. I have some leftover rice, and I saw somebody make congee with leftover rice, so I'm gonna add this to my pot, but I'll probably do like half, maybe a little more than half. All right, I have my rice. I've seen people use different variations of broth. Usually it's like a chicken broth, a beef broth, or something. I don't eat meat, so I'm actually using like a vegetarian beef bouillon cube that I dissolved in some water. So I'm gonna add some of that in here. Or I guess I'm just gonna add all of it. I'm not really measuring. I'm just gonna add a little bit more hot water. Now I'm gonna add 1 clove of garlic, and I'm also gonna grate some ginger in there. Okay, now I'm gonna heat this up until the rice cooks down. My rice is cooking, so I'm gonna start getting ready for the toppings. I'm doing green onion. You guys know that I've been having Japanese breakfast almost every day for a very long time now, which usually consists of a soup, like miso soup, and some rice. So I have been eating rice for breakfast for a while, and I absolutely love it, but I've never had congee before, and it's been on my list of foods I want to try. So I'm really excited. This might be my new hyperfixation breakfast. Also made some soft-boiled eggs. I think I'm just gonna do one on the congee today. Okay, let's see how it turned out. Perfectly jammy. Look at that. Oh, it's perfect. Oh my god. The congee is ready. I don't know if this is like a thicker consistency or if it's supposed to be more soupy. It's kind of the consistency of oatmeal, which I think is what it's supposed to be. I moved you guys so you can actually see, but we have our jammy soft-boiled egg in there, and then our green onion. I'm also gonna add some cilantro on top of having like fresh herbs. And then I just bought this because I've been hearing everyone talk about it, this spicy chili crisp from Laoganma? Laoganma? I don't know. I don't know how to say it, but it's so good. I had it yesterday. I made like a peanut sauce and I added this in it, and oh, it's so good. It's not very good for you, let me tell you, but it is really good. It's like crispy onions and garlic and chilies and stuff. So I'm just adding a little bit on there. And then finally, I'm just gonna top it with a tiny bit of sesame oil. And that is our congee. All right, let's try it for the first time. It's gonna be really hot. That was so good.
Watching her for years and I didn't know she was part of it. But then I was like, girl, like this looks really insensitive. Like, but I'm not gonna say anything. I don't wanna be the woke friend because that is never okay. The thing is, when it comes to culture appropriation, it's been going on for way too long. Way too damn long in my opinion. Here's my thing. It's a never-ending battle, okay? Yes, they're treating it like a trend and it's frustrating, but this is just gonna probably be a temporary thing until people find the next thing to obsess over. And it's mostly like the almond people that are like obsessing over this wellness shit. I just feel like you shouldn't be watering down a culture that you're not even a part of, okay? It's just like you can't even get in the club. You can't even get in.
Let go.
I don't know if y'all remember like there was a lot of culture appropriation in the 2010s, and it's when box braids were like the biggest thing back in the day. Everyone and their mama was doing it. And I don't know if y'all remember when the Kardashians were doing it and they were calling it boxer braids. Or when, you know, remember when Hailey Bieber came out and said that she was doing like, I don't know, it was like the glazed donut makeup look or something. Basically it was just lip liner and lip gloss or like hoops, and she'd try to like change it into something else when that is from Black and Latin cultures. This has been going on for a while. It's just a lot of people like to put fancy names on it and act like it's not from someone else when it's really from someone else, just to get monetary gain from it. My camera's dying and we just got into the nitty-gritty. And I do remember very vividly, a lot of people were getting on the Kardashians over culture appropriating Black culture, but I mean, I don't think they cared. I mean, everyone is trying to like feed off of someone, and they're notorious for that. Personally, like they've been doing it for years. Like their bodies were not meant to be filled with silicone because it's not supposed to. And if your body's not born like that, you shouldn't be putting shit in it to make it look a certain way. I feel like every time I film a video, I'm readjusting the camera at least 50 times. Because it's always moving. We're trying to be like their body types look like it was from like straight from a Black woman. And so I understand why they got that scrutiny, because they just kind of woke up and they're like, yeah, let me get a BBL. Let me get my boobs done. And then now the trend is be skinny, be super fit, deathly ill looking. And now they removed all the fillers. All the BBL allegations are gone. Everything was reversed all of a sudden. And I think it's kind of ridiculous, because it's just like, how do you just find that okay to just be like, yeah, it's not the trend right now? Like, that's the thing about chasing aesthetics and chasing trends. Like, it's not gonna be a forever thing. It's always going to be like coming and going with the wind. Get why they're like, why do you care about us now when you were saying we did this, that, there, and started the panorama, all these things. I get it, but this is just how it is. They try to find things to fit their aesthetic, and they're like, yeah, this fits it the most, and they grab some stuff from there, twiddle it a little bit, and then they just like make it into like a trend. That's just kind of what's going on right now. Like, they just treat everything like it's a trend, and I kind of find it irritating, because it's like, at least know the history of what you're doing instead of coming online and being very ignorant, because there will be some people to clock you. I will say that. If you come on the internet spewing nonsense and you sound like you don't know what you're talking about, people are going to clock you. And I hope that y'all are ready for that. Like, because the internet is not always nice when it comes to these things. Like, people are really like, yeah, this is not right. We need to form a group about this. And I get that, because it is frustrating, but I'm so like drained and all that stuff from all the years of seeing other people do it to like Black and Latin cultures. I'm just like, I'm surprised it got to them, because honestly they're probably a little late, but it's just because it fits this wellness trend that everyone is following. Like, everyone is on that like washa thing and the vibration plate and eating 1 almond a day. I also will say the reason why they probably look so youthful is because they're living in China and they don't have like foods that are pumped with like GMOs and bioengineered shit, and everything is probably most likely authentic. Like, over here everything is like pumped with hormones and shit like that. Like, that's probably why they look so good, if we're being honest here. Let's address the elephant in the room. And they probably can handle stress very well. Like, I don't know, like, they don't really have a lot of health problems other than apparently gout, doing something. I mean, they're moving their bodies. That's what people are doing too, because they're being Asian for a day. End it here. I'm talking for a very long time. I apologize for not posting last week. I was studying for exam. I ended up failing anyways, but that's besides the point. I'm still mourning, but it's just kind of upsetting because I spent all week freaking studying for it. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I would love to know your guys' thoughts on this very interesting topic, because I know that a lot of y'all were fuming when y'all saw this. I mean, rightfully so. I just am so like used to it because everyone's been doing it, you know. I'll see you guys next week with another video. Bye guys.